This is actually a pretty crazy story, as it looks like we now have the sixth body discovered at Disney World in like 60 days. Something very, very strange is going on. I know there's some degree of like copycatism that happens when you have these type of incidents, but it's very, very odd. In fact, there seems to be something pretty spooky, pretty, I don't know what the word is, like pretty demonic about all of these people that are ending up dead at Disney World. Let's actually look at the last. So just yesterday, the sixth body was now found at Disney World in less than 3 months. A sixth person has passed away at Disney World in less than 3 months. The body was found just one day after New Year's Day, with the discovery coming after a series of people passing away that have rocked the most magical place on Earth. Police say the body was found at 9 p.m. on Friday night in Disney Springs, a shopping center on the Walt Disney World property in Florida, according to a report by WKMG. Now, here's the thing. I've only been to Disney like once in my, I was there once when I was really young and I don't really remember it. And then I was there, I took my wife there. And so I kind of remember it. I've only been there once, but I do remember essentially whatever you would call Disney. Technically, what you would call Disney is a lot of property. Deputies responded to Disney Springs Orange Garage in East Buena Vista Drive and discovered a man who has passed away. The incident is being investigated as, well, a place to check out, we'll say. It seems like we have a new trend, or almost like a fetish, of people that are going to Disneyland to punch their ticket. We have no additional information. Well, Friday's Disney World body discovery was the first of 2026. It was the sixth in just a few months. On October 14th, a 31-year-old Illinois resident, Summer Equitas, was found from, self-termination at Disney World's Contemporary Resort. Then, 7 days later, October 21st, a man in his 60s suffered a, quote, medical episode at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort and Campground, with authorities saying he was transported to a local hospital where he passed away. Okay, so at least this guy didn't, from what I can tell, he didn't check out, but he might have, I don't know what a medical episode is. Maybe he did something to himself and then, I don't know. 2 days later, October 23rd, an aspiring football referee, 28-year-old Matthew Alec Cohen, also punched his ticket when he leapt from the 12th floor of the Disney Hotel at the Contemporary Resort. This was followed by the passing of another woman in her 40s on November 2nd. She was found unresponsive at Disney's Pop Century Resort before being pronounced gone. Then, on November 8th, another unidentified guest was found expired at Disney's Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa. Something is like, what is, like, I know this feels like maybe a leap, but like, is somebody taking these people's lives and making it look like, they chose to do it themselves? Like, literally, what is going on? If we go back to, so we had the sixth person who I just talked about. Now the fifth person, okay, this was November 19th. So there was a good break. Like, most of November and December were quiet. The identified guest was reported pronounced passed away at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort and Spa in Lake Buena Vista, just steps from Disney Springs. On November 8th, the Orange County Medical Examiner Office confirmed to the Post on Wednesday. Although there was a passing at Disney Saratoga Springs Resort, we declined jurisdiction. The medical examiner sent a statement noting that the body was ultimately turned over to the individual's personal physician. The grim news was the first reported by Disney World's X account, Disney World Active Calls, which tracks real-time police activity across the massive theme park. The person was first reported down at Saratoga Springs at 3:18 p.m. According to the account, minutes later, it delivered the grim update that they had passed away. The Victorian Style Resort, tucked between manicured golf courses, greens packed with pools and spas, and boasts a studio and multi-bedroom villas, complete with living and dining areas, in-room laundry, and full kitchens, costs as much as $2,300 per night. So this person was just at one of the many resorts. There's an eerie wave of deaths sprawling the theme park, starting back on October 14th. A Disney superfan. Let's go to this Disney superfan, right? This is Disney. Guest at Disney World's Pop Century Resort also passes away. It's actually pretty cool looking. I didn't know they had any places like this. This is a troubling string of deaths beginning at the most magical place on Earth, including on October 23rd, an apparent self-checkout of a 28-year-old guest, Matthew Alec Cohen, the football referee. Another guest at the park, identified only as a man in his 60s, also had a, quote, medical episode. We don't know what that is. I'm wondering, like, is there a serial killer on the loose at Disneyland? Is it that crazy? Now, you might say, Jeremy, Disneyland and Disney World are actually huge, and you have a lot of people coming in and out of them every year. And so somebody dying at Disneyland isn't actually that crazy. And I would argue, like, I would argue that does probably explain some of it. But the fact that you have 6 in 30 days, you know, this is very, very odd. Here's somebody, they just like jumped off the roof or something like that, I guess. Major law enforcement presence was seen near Bay Lake Tower last week as police taped off an area. Shocked guests claimed they were told by cast members not to look out from their balconies as staff tried to shield the response teams. Hotel employees were posted at several windows to shield guests from looking out of the tower at the scene, one guest said. Scaffolding, towel carts, and other hotel items were used to block the view of the scene, while a white tent was erected in the area. Dozens of police vehicles, a fire truck, and an ambulance were reportedly on the site, while staff members closed off select entrances to Bay Tower. We woke up to a very large law enforcement presence outside our balcony this morning at Disney's Bay Lake Tower. We were told this was a medical emergency. A second hotel guest said the victim was being given CPR, but others chimed in the comments. Unsure if he fell or just jumped. They knocked on our door as well and told us not to look out the window and that there was a medical emergency. Have not heard or confirmed anything. I mean, if somebody tells me not to look, I'm going to go look. But again, this comes just days after summer. An avid Disney fan was found self-checked out on Tuesday, this was in October, on Walt Disney World, hours after she vanished from an Illinois home. Summer equites, more like I quits. Oh, sorry. She passed away at the Contemporary Resort, one of more than 25 hotels in the sprawling Florida property. A missing persons page was created on a Reddit thread for Disney fans, apparently by a relative, before her passing, urging people to call the cops if they saw her at the resort. She reportedly honeymooned at the theme park during happier times, and it was announced that she was pregnant late last year. She left her home in Naperville and booked a flight to Orlando without telling anyone in the now deleted thread. She booked a flight there without telling us. Unfortunately, maybe she lost the baby. I don't know. The Orange County Sheriff's Office told Entertainment Weekly Tuesday that the death was an apparent self-deletion, but the local medical examiner's office added that she passed away from multiple blunt impacts. Multiple, huh? Like a hammer? On social media, she shared photos of herself at Disney parks, even one of her meeting the company CEO Bob Iger. My life has peaked, she reportedly wrote under the image. The guest was not struck by the monorail. So that is erroneous information. The Orange County Sheriff's Office, police said on Wednesday they declined to release more information. The whole thing is very, very odd. Now, here's the thing. Self-deletions at the most magical place on earth happen with surprising frequency. Jim Hill of the Disney Dish podcast told the Post. There's this weird phenomenon where people who are severely depressed but want to have one last good, happy family memory will go to Disney World. They'll deliberately book a room at the Contemporary Resort, which is 14 stories tall, and after that happy family time, they'll throw themselves off the building. These type of events often go unreported. A similar incident occurred in 2016 when a guest reportedly also jumped off one of the resort's ledges. What's interesting is every hotel I've ever stayed in, the windows don't even open. I guess like if you have, if you're at a Disney resort, that's Ruby getting excited about the carpet cleaner in the other room. I guess that's okay. it, you know, if you have these type of places, you know, I don't know. It's like the Golden Gate Bridge. There's a great documentary. I mean, it's a little macabre, obviously, but it's called The Bridge. And it is about how many people would go to the Golden Gate Bridge every year to, you know, check out. And it's a fascinating story. And they interview some people who actually survived the jump and ended up like paralyzed and things like that. But it's wild. Like, is there a serial killer on the loose at Disneyland? I don't know. You know, multiple blunt force, I guess maybe. You know, I guess you could bounce off stuff, you know. Here's a picture from the resort. Now, whatever mess was made by the person checking out, they had cleaned that up. So I don't know. Is there a serial killer, a Disneyland serial killer? Well, certainly if this trend continues, it would be on my mind. But also there is this kind of sad, creepy fetish that people have about checking out there too. So I don't know. Don't go to Disney and do that. In fact, don't do that at all. Your life is worth so much more than that. Plus, you don't want to go giving Bob Iger money. I mean, give me a break. I hope you're informed by this video. If you were, please leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.